Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWAS College Football Week 5 Friday night. We got two games on, and they're good ones. Virginia Tech, Miami, Washington, Rutgers. Gonna go through both of them in this video. Let's go.
Welcome to the SWAS. The SWAS. SWAS. Hey, get the SWAS.
All right, first up, Virginia Tech on the road in Miami for this one. Canes are laying 17.5 points at home. Total sitting at 54, 53.5, depending on your sports book. Take a look at the pie charts that I don't trust. According to this data, action's coming in heavy on the Miami side. Tickets over 80%, money percentage over 70%. But again, like I always say, take this data with a grain of salt. So let's get into this one, and we'll start with last week. Both these teams got off to some slow starts. Rutgers was up 23-7 on Virginia Tech, and Miami was losing on the road at South Florida. Both turned it around in the second half. The problem is Virginia Tech didn't come back enough to win. They lost 26-23. Miami ended up winning by 35 points. So how do we think they match up in this game? Well, we'll start with Virginia Tech offense. This is a run-first program. They were a run-first program with Jones at quarterback last year. They're 33rd in rushing frequency. Here are their offensive numbers. I mean, this is a good rushing attack, but I think we all had a little bit higher expectations. I mean, this was a good rushing attack last year. They brought back Drones at quarterback. They brought back the running back, Tootin. They brought back a lot of production on the offensive line. So I think we were all expecting this Virginia Tech offense to take a huge step forward this year. And it is still early in the season. We don't want to jump to conclusions. Also, Drones wasn't even starting till like week 3 or 4 last year. So really the second half of the year was much better for him last year as well. We don't want to jump to any conclusions, but I think we can all agree we expected a little bit more of an explosive offense. They're 48th in yards per carry, 31st in effective rush, but not so much the run game, because the run game's been okay. But I think we expected Drones to take a step forward as a passer. Really haven't seen it yet. Now, again, the season is still young. 765 yards, 7.1 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Really, outside of the second half in that Vanderbilt game where they were down big and they almost came all the way back, outside of that second half, really hasn't done much in terms of throwing the football. And then we look at the Miami defense, and I mean, do we really think this is the spot where Drones breaks out as a thrower against Miami? I mean, this is a top 10 defense, 10th in yards per play allowed, 9th in success rate, 5th in PPA, elite against the run, just like they were last year. They've actually been great against the pass as well. 18th in yards per pass attempt allowed, 10th in success rate, 4th in effective pass. They're 20th in DFVI. And what makes the matchup even scarier for Virginia Tech here is they've struggled in pass protection. They're 120th in sack rate allowed, 92nd in pressure rate allowed. Kyron Drones has been pressured on 34.7% of his dropbacks this season. That's 34th most in the FBS. To give you an idea of where that is, Shedeur Sanders is 35.1%. And we know the issues they've had with their offensive line. So Kyron Drones, we can't put all the blame on him as far as a passer. I mean, he hasn't had a ton of protection here, but do we really think that's going to change on the road in Miami? I mean, look at Miami's defensive front numbers here. 5th in run defense. I mean, they're top 20, top 25 in every single measurable metric here on the defensive front. 13th in sack rate, 31st in pressure rate. So I don't expect things to get easier for Kyron Drones here on the road in Miami. Now, something I will say that I like for Virginia Tech. Seems like they're trending in the right direction. Look at the rushing. They started off against Vandy, right? That game was ugly. Vanderbilt was out to a huge lead early. Since then, the yards per carry is trending the right way. 2.5, 4.1, 5.7, and then they were running the ball against Rutgers. 6.8 yards per carry. Look at these Kyron Drone splits here. First 2 games, just 16 rushing yards per game, 1 yard per carry. He was sacked 8 times. In the last 2 games, averaging over 88 rushing yards per game, over 8 yards per carry, sacked just 2 times. So at the very least, we can say this Virginia Tech offense seems to be trending in the right direction. The problem is this Miami run defense is insane looking right now. In their last 3 games, they're allowing 1.56 yards per carry, just 40 rushing yards per game. Now, granted, we have to question the strength of competition. South Florida is certainly not Virginia Tech when it comes to running the ball. But this Miami run defense, this Miami defensive front looks insane. So basically, my conclusion on this side of the ball, on paper, this is a nightmare for Virginia Tech offense. The only way I see the Hokies putting up points here is Kyron Drones playing hero ball. And what I mean by that is, remember what Castellanos did against Florida State last year? This year, Castellanos beat Florida State because Boston College is just better than Florida State. But remember, last year, Boston College almost beat that Florida State team because Castellanos was just making crazy plays. He went hero ball. So I could see Kyron Drones finally getting some confidence. Biggest game of the year so far. I could see Kyron Drones going hero ball here and just making some crazy plays. But as a whole, on paper, Miami's defense should stifle Virginia Tech's offense. Now, what about the other side of the ball? We got the Miami offense, pass frequency sitting at 31st, so they've been throwing the ball a lot. Everything looks great. Shit looks sweet for the Miami offense. They're first in the country in yards per play, 8th in success rate, 1st in PPA. They've been running the ball. They've been throwing. Their passing attack looks to be maybe even top 5 in the country, which is to be expected. They have Cam Ward and 3 elite receivers. Miami's loaded in terms of a passing attack. Cam Ward's numbers on the season look basically perfect. Over 1,400 yards, 11.7 yards per attempt, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, A-pluses across the board. Last week on the road at South Florida, 24 of 34, 404 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and a 193.6 passer rating. So yeah, everything looks great for the Miami offense. Passing attack looks great. They're even running the ball a little bit, looking like one of the best offenses in the country. But we do have to question the strength of schedule here, because when we're talking about Miami's defense, they've seen a couple dangerous offenses, but they haven't seen anything that resembles a defense yet. On paper so far, the best defense that Miami's seen is Florida. And we all know how that Gators defense has looked. I'm not throwing anybody a parade for lighting up the Florida Gators defense this year. Other than that, you got an FCS program. You got Ball State. They're 115th in DFEI. South Florida's offense is pretty good. So I'll give Miami's defense credit for playing well against South Florida's offense. Their defense isn't any good. So yes, this Miami offense looks electric across the board. Haven't played anybody yet. Enter Virginia Tech. Now, the Hokies don't exactly have a great defense, but it's certainly way better than anything Miami's seen so far. They're 62nd at DFEI, 47th in yards per play, 72nd in yards per carry, 58th in yards per pass attempt. They are rated 39th in effective pass, so some advanced metrics indicate that this is a good pass defense, which I suppose is a good matchup. They also have a solid pass rush. 21st in pass rush grade, 23rd in sack rate, 40th in pressure rate. So far, Miami's pass protection has looked elite, but like we were just talking about, they really haven't played anybody. So maybe Virginia Tech's defensive front is able to put some pressure on Cam Ward. Now, I know the rushing attack was there against South Florida. 6.5 carries, 188 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. But as a whole, the Miami rushing attack has been just okay. They're rated just 65th in effective rush. So advanced metrics indicate that this is an elite passing attack, maybe a step down in terms of rushing attack. And don't look now, but Virginia Tech was playing some solid defense against the run last week. Rutgers in their first 2 games was averaging 6.8 yards per carry as a team, just 2.9 yards per carry against Virginia Tech. Monungai was looking unstoppable, 8.7 yards per carry, 7.7 yards per carry, then just 3.2 yards per carry against Virginia Tech. So kind of like Kyron Drones, the Virginia Tech defense seems to be trending in the right direction as well. Now, is it trending hard enough to take the 17.5 points? It's a tough call. On paper, based on what we've seen so far, on the road in Miami, I think Miami would be about 21 points better than Virginia Tech. But you take into consideration, Virginia Tech is trending in the right direction. They were stronger in the second half of the season last year. Also, coming off a loss, biggest game of the year. Maybe we see some hero ball from Kyron Drones. Maybe he makes a crazy play or two. I'm going to take him. Miami hasn't been tested yet. I know everyone's in love with this team, and I could see why, but I think Drones is going to show up. Finally, I think we're going to see the Virginia Tech team that we were expecting to see. They just needed a few weeks to warm up. I'm taking the points. I think they play them tough. Give me Va-Tech plus 17.5. Now for the second game, Washington-Rutgers. I'm not going to do a whole breakdown of this game. I'm not even allowed to bet it. It's in New Jersey. Obviously, I'm rooting for Rutgers. This is a huge game for the state of New Jersey. People in this state don't care about college football. No one cares about college football. There's a little buzz around. People are starting to talk about Rutgers. Even my friends who don't even like college football are texting me about Rutgers. This is the biggest Rutgers football game we've had in years. So obviously I'm on Rutgers. That would be my pick. But at a full 3, I do understand if you're on Washington, they've looked really strong. Matchup-wise, I do see a path for Rutgers here. Rutgers' weakness defensively has been stopping the run. Right before the season started, they lost their best linebacker for the year. They've really been struggling to defend the run here, but they've been elite against the pass. And Washington, they're a pass-first offense with Will Rogers. So maybe Washington isn't equipped to exploit the weakness of Rutgers defense. I guess I could see a path. And also Rutgers offense, I mean, they don't have a quarterback, right? Kaliak-Manis, not that proven of a thrower. This is a Rutgers offense that needs to run the ball with Monungai. Washington, a defense that's been stronger against the pass. I mean, I guess there's a path. Most sharp college football people that I've watched, that I've talked to, they're on Washington getting 3. But I'm going to be watching this game. Let's go Rutgers. Obviously, I can't bet it, like I said, but Rutgers, let's do it. Scarlet Knights. If you'd like to see all the bets I have open right now, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets. You'll see all mine as well as everyone on the staff here. Also, if you sign up for Sauce Network Plus, it comes with access to the Discord, and you get to participate in the weekly betting league. $150 cash and one of these trophies go to the winner every single week. So head over to the website and sign up if you're interested. Let's have ourselves a nice week 5 here. Coming off a nice weekend, but I lost the Jags on Monday night. Just lost the Cowboys minus 5.5, even though I got 4.5 in the league. So I got a win in the league, but my actual bet, my actual money was on Cowboys minus 5.5. So I lost the bet on the website, which sucks. But so yeah, lost the Jags, lost the Cowboys after that monster weekend. Let's get back on track. Yeah, let's go Rutgers. Live show 4 p.m. on Friday night. Saturday 10 a.m. is the college football show. Sunday NFL 11 a.m. is the live stream for the NFL. Hope to see you in the comments. Let's have a good one. Later.